And there we go. We thank you, God, for everything. We're going to do this biblical word study, one word at a time. And there we are. We're doing rain. And we'll see where that takes us. I got a lot of things up here for, but you see, I was going to do a storm, whirlwind, tempest, and rain. And a lot of this stuff just runs into each other. But, as you can see, there's like 13 or 14 verses with the word storm in it. There's about 25 verses with the word whirlwind. And we know that's not too good. And we know tempest, there's about 18 verses in that. And then you see rain. There's got like 87 verses there with rain in it. So we'll concentrate mainly on rain. And as you can see, if I was going to go with the storm, there's 3 different TWOTs on that. Whirlwind, there's a couple of different TWOTs on that. And then rain has 3 main ones, but there's a few more. And we'll get into this here. So I'll put it up. 1187. Yeah, these are the 2 main ones. 1187, TWOT 1187, and TWOT 389. And I'll give you the Strong's numbers on these. And there's another one too, 2099. I'll look for that too. There it is. What that? The first rain, the latter rain. We'll get into that. And then, here's the 2 main ones. No, this is the 910 is that's the first rain, okay, the Yoreh. All right, we're going to give you all these definitions. And then the Malkosh, that's the latter rain, okay. I used to think the latter rain was late in the season, like, December, January, February. But actually, it's the latter rain is in March, April, and the first rain, or the former rain, that would be in the autumn, October, November. But we'll get into that. And then we got a couple of cross references on James 5:7, and then this stuff here. But let me give you the definitions before we get into looking at any of these Bible dictionary things. I'll give you some numbers here. 4306. So that's one of the main ones for rain. It's matar, M-A-T-A-R. It comes from 4305, which is matar, same thing. I guess it's just a different vowel point. So one's a verb and one's a noun. And the TWOT is 1187. We'll get into that a little bit. Okay. So let's see, great rain, small rain, and we'll get into that. And then the other word for rain, 1653, and this is Geshem, or Geshem, and it means rain or shower. Is a masculine noun. And then Gasham is to cause rain. And there's one verse there, 1652. What is that? Look at it real quick. And there are among the vanities of the Gentiles that can cause rain, or the heavens and showers. And what's the showers? There's a word for showers. See, I just bounce all over the place now. And that's what I do with Rabib. That's another word. And we'll look at that too. I'm going to call that up in a second. So these are the 3 main ones. The 4306, 1653, and I'll throw this one up here now. This 7241, I think it is. Yeah, 7241. All right, get this out. One verse there, and this is 7241, and this is shower. Actually, it's a Rabib shower, copious, like heavy showers. So this is the one they'd be afraid of. And the word is rabab, which means many, multiplied, increase, to become many. So as you can see, this is a lot of rain, a lot of showers. And then we'll look at that. So those are the 3 main ones. All right, 4306 is the matar, 1653 is the geshem, and 7241, that's the rabib. All right. And then I wanted to look at the This other one is, okay, we'll put this up here. I got some room for this. And these are this would be the former and the latter rain. And we'll put these numbers here. There's a bunch of them here for this former rain. What's the main one here is 3138. 3138, I believe. That's the first rain, or the former rain, as you can see. I mean, I had a bunch of verses up here with first rain. Here it is. There's the first rain and the former rain and the latter rain. But I'll look at it this way here. I'll put it up over here. So there's the first rain, and this number here is Yare. All right, and the TWOT is 910 if you're taking notes. And that comes from, it's an active participle of 3384, which is the main verb, which means yara, which means to teach or to shoot, or to throw, to cast, the pour. So as you can see, this would be the sowing. This would be the first rain. This is where you sow the seeds. As you can see by this verb here, it's casting, and you're going to cast the seed down. And we can get into seed and all that stuff, but we're not going to do that. And then there's the 4175, besides these two, 3138 and 3384. And then you got the 4175, 4175. I'll put the main verb up there with that. So this is the, excuse me, this is the 4175 is the more. And it's the same thing. It comes from the yare, yara. I'm sorry, teach, yara. So these three together, the 3384, 4175, and 3138. So this is the main verb here, the 3384. But this here, this more, is the former rain, and it's as you can see, it's also means teacher. Coming from that yara there. And let me get this out of here. And I'll give you a couple of verses here in Deuteronomy 11:14, that I will give you the rain of your land in due season, the first rain and the latter rain. And we're going to get into I'll give you the definitions for the latter rain, that thou mayest gather in thy corn and thy wine and thine oil. And in Jeremiah 5:24, he says, neither say they in their heart, let us now fear the Lord our God that giveth rain. And we got the definitions for rain already, both the former and the latter in his season. He reserveth unto us the appointed weeks of harvest. So that's what it's all about. And it's about getting the rain and being able to eat. And then Psalms 84:6, who passing through the valley of Baca, that's the valley of tears, make it a well. The rain also filleth the pools. And Joel 2:23, be glad then, you children of Zion, and rejoice in the Lord your God, for he hath given you the former rain moderately, for he will cause to come down for you the rain, the former rain and the latter rain in the first of the month. So that the latter rain is in the first month. That's what always confused me. And we're going to give you this latter rain here. So I got these here for the former. Let me give you this for the latter. The latter numbers are 4456, and there's two numbers, right? 4456. Okay, let me give you that. 4456. That's the latter rain, and also 3954. 3954, and that's the latter growth. And it comes from the verb, which is 3953. And there should be a lot of words here. 3953. Oh, wait, what's that? Is this the verb? 3953. It is. And there's one verse there for that, huh? Job 24:6. They reap everyone his corn in the field, and they gather the vintage of the wicked. Job 24:6. So here's the verb, lakash, to glean, gather, take the aftermath, take the spoil. So this latter rain comes at the harvest, or right before the harvest. And So that's that one. I'm surprised there was only one word there for that. All right. And the 3954 is Lakesh, the latter growth, aftermath, spring crop, the late crop, the aftergrowth. 1127, TWOT 1127. We'll look at that. And then the other one is 4456, Malkosh. All right. That's the latter rain, latter spring. So the latter rain in the spring is in March and April, which matures the crops of Palestine. And we're going to get into this a little bit here. The Deuteronomy, we just looked at that. But let me put this in a there we go. Deuteronomy. So this is what happens if we obey him. And this is what will happen if you don't obey him. He goes in Deuteronomy 11. He's given them, he says to him, he says, therefore, and this is, I guess it's Moses talking to him. He says, therefore shall you keep all the commandments which I command you this day, that you may be strong and go in and possess the land, whither you go to possess it, and that you may prolong your days in the land which the Lord sware unto your fathers to give unto them and to their seed of the land that floweth with milk and honey. For the land whither thou goest in to possess it is not as the land of Egypt, from whence ye came out, where thou sowest thy seed and waterest it with thy foot, as the garden of herbs. But the land whither thou go to possess it, it is a land of hills and valleys, and drinketh water of the rain of heaven. And this rain of heaven, that's the 4306, that's the Matar, okay? The rain of heaven. A land which the Lord thy God careth for, the eyes of the Lord thy God are always upon it, from the beginning of the year, even unto the end of the year. And it shall come to pass, if ye shall hearken diligently unto my commandments, which I command you this day, to love the Lord your God, and to serve him with all your heart and with all your soul, I will give you rain of your land in due season, the first rain and the latter rain, that thou mayest gather in thy corn and thy wine and thy oil. So this is what it's all about, the former rain and the latter rain. And I want to put these two up. You got 9, 10. I was going to do this here. All right, 9, 10. And what's the other one? That's 1127. And the other one is 4175. Let me go back here. Hold on. And what's in here? 4175. I might have too many pages up here now. 4175. And we'll put that there and give you that 910. So we're going to go through these two here. TWOT 910 and TWOT 1127. Just to give you an idea of what the former and the latter rain is. And the Malkosh, that's the latter rain, the spring rain. The latter rain occurs during March and April, while the former rains begin this season of rain, usually including severe thunderstorms in the second half of October to November, or even as late as January in a bad year. The latter rains of March, April are desperately needed for the coming harvest. Hence, Job's description of his miserable comforters in a marvelous simile. He says, Job 29, and they waited for me as for the rain. They opened their mouth wide as for the latter rain. Speaking of the guys that came to comfort him. I don't want to give it to you in context. We'll be here all night. If this rain fails, it is obvious that God is displeased with his people. I also will withheld the rain from you when there were only 3 months to the harvest. And that's in Amos 4:7. And I caused it to rain upon one city and caused it not to rain on another city. One piece was rained upon, and the piece whereupon it rains not withered. Okay, so you get the rain, you survive. You don't get the rain, and it withers. And Jeremiah 3:3, therefore the showers have been withholden. And we got these words already. The showers, that's the abundant rain, that's the Rabib, have been withholden, and there had been no latter rain, no Melkosh, and thou hadst the whore's forehead and refused to be ashamed. That's Jeremiah 3:3, right before they were taken captive of Babylon. But if all is well between God and his people, then he will give the rain for their land in its due in its season, the early rain and the latter rain, so they might gather in their grain, their wine, and their oil. And we read this already, Deuteronomy 11:14 and Jeremiah 5:24. Neither say in their heart, let us now fear the Lord, our God, that giveth rain, both the former and the latter, in his season. He reserveth unto us the appointed weeks of the harvest. So it's very important, this rain that they needed, the former and the latter. God invites men to ask him for rain at the time of the latter rain, and he will send it copiously, which is a lot. Ask ye of the rain in the latter time, in the time of the latter rain. So the Lord shall make bright clouds and give them showers of rain to everyone, grass in the field. So that's good. The latter rain, Malkosh, and the rain, 4306, is the Matar. That's the great rain there. Okay. In fact, when men repent, one of God's signs of immediate blessing is the rain. In Joel 2:23, read that a couple of times already. All right. Proverbs uses the appearance of the spring clouds preceding the latter rains as a simile of the king's favor. Proverbs 16:15. In the light of the king's countenance is life, and his favor is as a cloud of the latter rain. So when the latter rain came, we were happy. So that was at TWOT 11:27. And then 9:10, this is the early rain. All right. And we're going to see a bunch of verses duplicated again. Malkosh latter rain, the early rains fell from the end of October until the beginning of December. So that's the early rain in the autumn. Early rain, first rain, autumn, sowing. That's the way I remember to sow the seed in the autumn, the first rain, the former rain. And the other one was the harvest. Okay, early rain, and also teacher. And also you got the word Torah here, which means law. All right. And the basic idea of the root yara, to throw or to cast, and the strong sense of control by the subject, lots were cast. So this explains the verb yara, and it talks about it also means archer and the bow. Let me see, here we go. The three most frequent uses of this root deal with shooting arrows, sending rain, and teaching. So there you got the three words there. A most deadly weapon of the ancients was the bow and arrow. They could shoot from a distance or from behind protection. Some missiles were shot from specially designed engines. 3 of Israel's kings fell on the battlefield because of the archer's range, namely Saul, Ahab, and Josiah. Metaphorically, the wicked from behind ambush shot suddenly at the blameless. On the other hand, God too is pictured as shooting an arrow at the wicked and wounding them suddenly to protect the upright. And that the thought process of being wounded suddenly, because you're standing there, all of a sudden you're struck with an arrow. That's sudden, So Yoreh, the early rain, gives the early rain and the latter rain. God gives the early rain and the latter rain to assure abundance of harvest. There it is, Deuteronomy 11:14. Joel compares the future blessing to the coming of the early and latter rains, and we saw that already in Joel 2:23. All right, let me read it again here. It says, "Be glad then, ye children of Zion, And rejoice in the Lord your God, for he hath given you the former rain moderately, and he will cause to come down for you the rain, the former rain, and the latter rain in the first month. And Hosea 6:3, then shall you know, if we follow on to know the Lord, his going forth is prepared as the morning, and he shall come unto us as the rain, as the latter and former rain unto the earth. And James 5:7, be patient, therefore, brethren, unto the coming of the Lord. Behold, the husbandman waiteth for the precious fruit of the earth, and hath long patience for it, until he receive the early and latter rain. So James even talked about this. The early, let me see, proimos, the early rain which fell from October on. Comes from proi, or in the morning or early, which comes from pro, which is before. Okay. And the latter, you have these two words here. I got them written down, but I'll give them to you real quick here. Opsimos. So that's the latter. So you got the proimos and the opsimos, and that's the latter. And it comes from opse, which means in the end or at evening. And it's the same as 3694, which is opizo, which means after or behind or afterwards. So we break these words down forever and ever. And as you can see, opsis is in here, which is the eye, optanomai, to see, to appear, to look. So James 5:7, we'll do some cross references on that one, because that was a good verse, James 5:7. It's all about being patient and waiting. The husbandman waited for the precious fruit of the earth. That's the rains. That comes after that. And God will restore to his people abundance of produce. This promise encompasses both material and spiritual blessings. Hosea 10:12, sow to yourselves in righteousness, reap in mercy. And we can do these two words. Sow is that word, the zera, sow, or to scatter seed. And then the reap is the katsar, to reap. Okay, katsar. Break up your fallow ground, for it is time to seek the Lord till he come and rain righteousness upon you. So this is the rain. Shoot, teach. So he's going to rain righteousness upon you. It has to do with the law and shooting, teaching, and sowing the seed. Learning. That's it. And also, of course, Torah is one of the words in here, and teaching, and it's all about teaching. And it's called the Torah, basically means teaching, and the law and the covenant. We can't read all of this now. It's a study for another day. I'll zip it by here real quick, in case anybody sees the recording and they want to go through this. The law in the time of Ezra and Nehemiah, praise of the law. That's the law in the coming age. All right. And then bibliography, theologically of the Old Testament, yeah. All right. Old Testament, Outland Testament, I don't have any of those. Okay. So that's the former and the latter rain. And there's the first rain. We went through this already. And the rain, we gave you the three main words for rain. And we could sit here and read verses all night, but you get it. I don't know if I just put the word rain up there, it'll give you all the different words for rain. So as you can see here, this is in Nave's topical Bible. If you have one of those, this will all be laid out in there. 40 days of rain at the time of the great flood of Noah, as you can see in Genesis, and also the plague of rain upon Egypt, and you can see that in Exodus 9. Miraculously caused by Samuel, by Elijah. They made the rain. Samuel asked for rain. He says, now therefore stand and see this great thing which the Lord will do before your eyes. Is it not wheat harvest today? I will call unto the Lord, and he shall send thunder and rain, that you may perceive and see that your wickedness is great, which you have done in the sight of the Lord in asking you a king. So Samuel called upon the Lord, And the Lord sent thunder and rain that day, and all the people greatly feared the Lord and Samuel. And all the people said unto Samuel, Pray for thy servants unto the Lord thy God, that we die not. For we have added unto all our sins this evil to ask a king. And they still wanted a king anyway. So, but this, and then Elijah talked about he says, when he stopped the rain and he brought the rain again. Elijah said unto Ahab, Get thee up, eat and drink, for there is a sound of abundance of rain. This is after they had the famine. I don't have, I forget how long it was. What was it, 3 years? So Ahab went up to eat and to drink, and Elijah went up to the top of Carmel, and he cast himself down upon the earth and put his face between his knees and said to his servant, Go up now, look toward the sea. And he went up and he looked, and he said, There is nothing. And he said, Go up, go again 7 times. And it came to pass at the 7th time that he said, Behold, there arises a little cloud out of the sea, like a man's hand. And he said, Go up, say unto Ahab, Prepare thy chariot, and get thee down, that the rain stop thee not. And it came to pass in the meanwhile that the heaven was black with clouds and wind, and there was a great rain, and Ahab rode and went to Jezreel. So that famine was over there, the drought. And David was delivered by rain, and that's in 2 Samuel 5. And also in Isaiah 28:21, talks about the rain, and rain being withheld as judgment. And we just read some of these verses already. And then the Lord's wrath be kindled against you, and he shut up the heaven, and there be no rain. We saw that already. And Deuteronomy 28, we know what that is. That's the blessings and the cursings. The Lord shall make the rain of thy land powder and dust. That's no rain. From heaven shall it come down upon thee until thou be destroyed. And then 1 Kings, we just read, I believe. No, he says, when heaven is shut up and then there is no rain, because they have sinned against thee, if they pray towards this place and confess thy name and turn from their sin, when thou afflicts them. So this is Solomon's prayer also when he was praying, and he's telling them, if these people sin and they ask your forgiveness, then you'll help them out. And 2 Chronicles, if I shut up heaven that there be no rain, or if I command the locusts to devour the land, or if I send pestilence upon my people. So there you go. We got to obey. Jeremiah 3:3, we read. Amos 4:7, and also I have withholden the rain from you when there were yet 3 months to the harvest. And I caused it to rain upon one city, and caused it not to rain upon another city. One piece was rained upon, and the piece whereupon it rained not withered. All right. And 14:17, Zechariah, and it shall be that whoso will not come up of all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, even unto them shall be no rain. That's Zechariah. And there's a prophecy there, I guess. And the earth will never again be destroyed by rain. Genesis 9. So, but will be destroyed by fire. That's strange. Rain sent by God. All these verses contingent upon obedience. That's it. Leviticus 26, the same thing as Deuteronomy 28. They say, if you walk in my statutes and keep my commandments and do them, then I will give you rain in due season, and the land shall yield her increase, and the trees of the field shall yield their fruit. And Deuteronomy 11, you read that. Prayer for rain. That's Solomon praying for rain. Answer to prayer. Zechariah 10:1. And you ask of the Lord rain in the time of the latter rain. So the Lord shall make bright clouds. Yes, we read that. Okay. And then James 5:17 and 18, we read, withheld in answer to prayer. Elias was a man subject to like passions as we are, and he prayed earnestly that it might not rain. And it rained not on the earth by the space of 3 years and 6 months. So it was 3.5 years. And he prayed again, and the heaven gave rain, and the earth brought forth fruit. And there's this one on meteorology. Let me see. The rainy season in Palestine is in the 9th month, corresponding to December. There's a couple of rainy seasons, but this is in Ezra. Then all the men of Judah and Benjamin gathered themselves together unto Jerusalem within 3 days. It was the 9th month, the 20th day of the month, and all the people sat in the street of the house of God, trembling because of this matter and for the great rain. So when it rains a lot, people get nervous back then, you know. But the people are many, and it is a time of much rain, and we are not able to stand without. Neither is this a work of one day or two, for we are many that have transgressed this thing. So this is the guys that took strange wives, and Ezra went in there and told them they got to get rid of these wives and all that, and that was a big deal. And then figuratively here in Psalms 72:6, he shall come down like rain upon the mown grass, as showers that water the earth. And there was this thing on meteorology. I can't get into all of this. Look at all this. Meteorology and celestial phenomena. General scriptures concerning to dozens and dozens of verses all through the Bible. And the phenomena of the deluge, fire from heaven upon the cities of the plain, plagues of hail, thunder, lightning in Egypt, the plague of darkness in Egypt, the east wind that divided the Red Sea, that brought the quails, a pillar of cloud and fire, the sun standing still, the dew on Gideon's fleece, stars in their courses that fought against Sisera, stones from heaven, fire from heaven at Elijah's command, the whirlwind that carried Elijah to heaven, the wind under God's control, okay, the east wind, rain, the formation of rain, in Psalms 135:6 and 7. Whatsoever the Lord pleased, that did he in heaven and in the earth and in the seas and all deep places. He causes the vapors to ascend from the ends of the earth, and he maketh lightnings for the rain, and he bringeth the wind out of his treasuries. He's in charge. And copious dew, rain in answers to Samuel's prayer we read about, Elijah's prayer. Rain confuses the Philistine army in 1 Samuel. Wind destroys Job's children. Okay. Darkness at the crucifixion is a phenomenon. And the autumnal weather on the Mediterranean in Acts 27. What was this? The sailing was now dangerous because the fast was now already passed. And this is when they were on the ship. I guess when they crash landed in Melita, and they had this thing that was called, not long after there arose against them a tempestuous wind called Euroclydon. Euroclydon, a furious northeasterly wind. All right, Euroclydon. The name used by sailors for a tempestuous wind in the Mediterranean experienced by Paul when he was being taken to Rome in Acts 27:14. The etymology of the word is not known. Some manuscripts read, and it may simply imply a furious wind like a levanta, whatever that is, in modern times, irrespective of the quarter from which it blew. Okay, so and then you got astronomy, hail, and rain. Rain, I think we were looking at this already. Yes, this is the one we're looking at here. And then symbolical, used in the Revelation of John, when it talks about all of these happenings on the earth that John goes through, all of these figures and metaphors and idioms and things like that. So there's a bunch of stuff on that. And there's rain here, which it's the word mata and geshem. We know what they are. Violent rain, or generically the early and the latter rain. Yoreh is the early rain, the rain of autumn, And Malkosh is the latter rain, the rain of spring. And we went through all these verses. And you got the other word, ribium. There's too many B's in here, but it's ribibium, or rab, which means many, from the multitude of drops. And you have showers in this one, in Deuteronomy 32. And zarem is violent rain or hailstorm. I didn't see that in Job 24. And they are wet with the showers of the mountains and embrace the rock for want of shelter. They are wet. Ratab, one word, wet, with the showers, 22:30. That's the zarem. And let me see if I got this down here. No, I don't have this on here. Shower, zarem, flood, overflowing, shower, storm, tempest. Like I said, if you look up these tempest and storm, you're going to run into all of these different words here. So this is a thunderstorm. It comes from zaram, which means to pour out or to carry away, as with the flood, to pour out. To pour forth, TWOT 581, not much there. To pour out, to pour forth, there's the verb. Thou carriest them away as with a flood. They are as asleep. In the morning, they are like grass which groweth up. And then what happens? It withers. And then the voice of thy thunder was in the heaven. The lightnings lightened the world. The earth trembled and shook. I love this stuff. And then the zarem. And then you got Isaiah 4:6. And there shall be a tabernacle for a shadow in the daytime from the heat, and for a place of refuge, and for a covert from storm and from rain. I should put this up here like this. Let me do this here. So I'll give you this word officially here, zarem, and pour out, carry. We'll keep the verb on the side over here, but this is zarem 22:30. Give it to you real quick. 22:29, 22:30. That's the showers. That's the Job 24:8. And then covert for the storm and from the rain. It's probably one of the words for rain we already looked up. For thou hast been a strength to the poor, a strength to the needy in his distress, a refuge from the storm, a shadow from the heat. When the blast of the terrible ones is a storm against the wall. And he just talked about what was a refuge from the heat. There was something else. And there shall be a tabernacle for a shadow in the daytime from the heat. And over here it says, for thou hast been a strength to the poor, strength to the needy, there's a refuge from the storm, a shadow from the heat. So that's the tabernacle. When the blast of the terrible ones is a storm against the wall. All this is idiomatic, metaphoric language. Behold, the Lord hath a mighty and strong one, which as a tempest of hail and a destroying storm, as a flood of mighty waters overflowing, shall cast down the earth with the hand. Too many words to look up. You got the hail, you got the destroying storm, you got the mighty waters, and 30 and 30, and the Lord shall cause his glorious voice to be heard, and shall show the lightning down of his arm with the indignation of his anger, and with the flame of a devouring fire, with scattering and tempest and hailstones. This isn't literal, right? A man shall be as a hiding place from the wind, and a covert from the tempest, as rivers of waters in a dry place, as the shadow of a great rock in a weary land. So there's like 3 different verses talking about the shadow. And then the mountains saw thee and they trembled. The overflowing of the water passed by. The deep uttered his voice and lifted up his hands on high. And that's zarem. And you got like 5 or 6 different English words here that they use for this. Zarem. And then this other one, Segrir, is only in Proverbs 27:15. A continual dropping in a very rainy day and a contentious woman are alike. So this continual dropping in a very rainy day is compared to a contentious woman. Continual dropping on a very rainy day. Sagreed. One time in the Bible, that's it. Sagreed. It comes from sagar, which means to shut up, to close. All right, to enclose. And this is 1462. And you do see a lot of stuff on there. That's for the verb. And this 1463 is for this one. That's the steady, persistent rain. And that's what that is. And what's a contentious woman? That's the Midian. Midian is contention, brawling, strife, contention. Comes from strife, madon, contention, discord, variant. It's like the rain, constant rain. Dean, a din, judge, okay, Dan, plead, cause, all right. 426. Not going to get into all of that. All right, good. I just like looking up words, man. Steady or persistent rain. Agreed. All right. As compared with Egypt, Palestine was a land of rain. We got that from Deuteronomy 11. But for 6 months, no rain falls, so that rain in harvest and thunder were marvelous phenomena and out of time and place. Proverbs 26:1. As snow in summer and as rain in harvest, so honor is not seemly for a fool. So these are oxymoronic things here. Snow in the summer and rain in the harvest, compared to a fool esteeming honor, and he doesn't. So I guess oxymoronic would be the word, or a contradiction in terms, right? What happened here? All right. Now, therefore, stand and see this great thing which the Lord will do before your eyes. Is it not wheat harvest today? And we read this already. I will call unto the Lord, and he shall send thunder and rain. Okay. So he sent thunder and rain. And we read that already. The early rain begins gradually, and the latter end of October or beginning in November. So that's the early rain. Generally from the west or southwest. So Luke 12:54 has this. And he said also to the people, when you see a cloud rise out of the west, straightway ye say, there cometh a shower. And so it was. So everybody knows the signs of the times, you know. And a shower is umbros, a shower, umbros. Violent storm accompanied by high wind with thunder and lightning. One time in the Bible, umbros. 36:55. Do I have it down there? I looked up stuff for this. 36:55. No, I don't have it. So let me just stick it in here real quick. 36:55. 36:55. All right, that went just one time in the Bible. There you go. Okay, the wind changes to a north or an east. At no period in the winter from the end of October to the end of March does rain entirely cease. So you got October, November, December, January, February, March. It's a rain, the former and the latter. In January and February, snow falls, but lies only a short time. The early rain means the first autumnal showers, which prepare the arid soil for the seed. The latter rain, the latter spring showers, especially in March, which bring forward the crop towards harvest. James 5:7 we read, and Proverbs 16:15. And the light of the king's countenance is life, and his favor is a cloud of the latter rain. So that's something that's good. Showers fall occasionally in April and May. God claims as his peculiar prerogative the sending or withholding of rain, which he made dependent on the obedience or disobedience of Israel. There it is. And you can look at all these verses to see that. Leviticus 26, all right? You got the cursings and the blessings. Deuteronomy 11, all right? And then Deuteronomy 28, which is the sister chapter to Leviticus 26. You got the cursings and the blessings. And then you got Jeremiah talking about no rain for you, or it's going to be too much rain for you, one or the other. So he reserveth unto us the appointed weeks of the harvest. Jeremiah 3:24, 5:24, and that. So I'll just read this here. So the latter rain in the first month, that's in Joel 2:3. Be glad then, you children of Zion, and rejoice in the Lord your God, for he hath given you the former rain moderately, and he will cause to come down for you the rain, the former rain, and the latter rain in the first month. So that's what he's talking about here, former and the latter rain. What means in the month when first it is needed, or else, as in the Vulgate or the Septuagint, as at the first. Compare Isaiah 126. I will restore thy judges as at the first, and thy counselors at the beginning. Da, 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 da. So as at the first, that they're talking about there. Okay, the former years. Or Nisan or Abib, that's April, the Passover month, the first, namely the end of March and the beginning of April. The departure of winter was marked by the cessation of rain. Song of Solomon 2:11-13. For lo, the winter is past, the rain is over and gone. The flowers appear on the earth, the time of the singing of birds is come, and the voice of the turtle is heard in our land. And that's the turtle dove. The fig tree putteth forth her green figs, and the vines with the tender grape give a good smell. Arise, my love, my fair one, and come away. It's the love song, Song of Solomon. The winter is past. The rain, 1653. The Geshem, the shower is over. Good. So rain is the beautiful image of the Spirit's refreshing influences in Messiah's kingdom. Then shall we know, if we follow on to know the Lord, his going forth is prepared as the morning, and he shall come unto us as the rain, as the latter and the former rain on the earth. So how important is this rain, man? You know, and the obedience and the disobedience. And then 2 Samuel 23, 4, and he shall be as the light of the morning when the sun riseth, even the morning without clouds, as the tender grass springeth out of the earth by clear shining after rain. This is a different rain. This is the matar. So you have that 2 or 3 different rain. He shall come down like rain upon the mown grass. How many times have we read that already? So this is out of Fawcett's Bible Dictionary. And like I said, there's a whole bunch of stuff here. If you just look at all of this. But we went through this. We went through the TWOT 1187. All right, we read that. Yeah. Well, no, we didn't. Did we read that? No, we didn't read this one. Okay. So there's a lot to read here. In Genesis 2:5, it talks about the rain. Yeah. He had not caused it to rain on the ground. Okay, we didn't read that. That's TWOT 1187. You want to write it down. And there's TWOT 1127. We read that. That's the latter rain. And then this rain here, this 389. This is the shower. That's the Geshem. Yes. Okay, we read that. Okay. And you got themes for rain. We got the spiritual rain. We read half of these verses already. And then names, we read this. All right. International Standard Bible Encyclopedia on rain. All right, we can't read all of this. There's a whole bunch of stuff. The water supply in Egypt and Palestine, the importance of rain in season, withholding of rain according to the prophecy of Elijah. Okay. Amount of rainfall, Palestine and Syria are on the borderland between the sea and the desert. This is the Fertile Crescent in there. The amount of rain in the western slopes, and it talks about the boring statistics of rain. And this is the faucet. We just read some of this, I believe. Yes. And then Easton has something on rain. There are 3 Hebrew words used to denote the rains of different seasons. We looked at them all. Yareh, Melkosh, and Geshem. Look at them right there. All right. And that's those words. And then the Concise Dictionary talks about Palestine different from Egypt and vegetation. Boom. So that's that. So we pretty much covered a lot of stuff on rain. And we'll look at this tempest, the whirlwind, and the other things, the storm, some other time. And there was something else that I was looking at here. Here's the former rain. We read all these verses already. Come on. Former rain, yes. Hosea 6 and Joel 2:23, and then James 5:7. We're getting to a little bit of this. Barnes talking about this, and I thought I still didn't give you the New Testament Greek on this this rain here. There's a whole bunch of them here too on in the Greek. Let me see if I got the right ones. 2978. This might just be the storm. Yeah, this is the storm and the tempest. I want to give you that. Lab, storm, tempest. No. And what's the other one here? This one is 417. I think that's the wind. 417. Yeah, that's the wind. And the most violent wind, agitation, stream of air. And then you have, what's the other numbers here? 2366 in the Greek. Tempest, okay. That one time in the Bible is thuela, tempest, a sudden storm. Hebrews 12:18. And it comes from thuo, which means to kill or to sacrifice, immolate. And then we have a number 3797, which is the latter rain. We looked at this already, I think. James 5:7. Yeah, we'll cross-reference on this. So this is the latter rain. That's the opsimos. Yes, we saw that. And then this other one is 5494. 5494. That's just weather, winter weather, tempest. Okay. I'm not going to get into all of these words here. Just give it to you real quick. Kimion, winter, tempest, foul weather, kimon. And the other one is 5492, tossed with the tempest, I think. 5492, 492. Yes, we're exceedingly tossed with the tempest. And that's in Acts 27 when they landed on, I believe it was Melita. And what was another number here? We just looked at that. 4406, 4406. The early and latter, that's the same thing. Okay, look at this. So it's in the early and latter rain. So we got we looked at these already. The proimos is the early, and the opsimos, early and latter rain. All right. And then there's another one for rain. I think this is the main one here. 5205. There's the one for rain. Okay. All those other ones were something else. Huetos, rain. Hueo, to rain. And 6 times Give us rain from heaven and fruitful seasons, filling our hearts with food and gladness. There we go. And the barbarous people, and this is after he got shipwrecked, and the barbarous people shewed us no little kindness, for they kindled a fire, and they received everyone because of the present rain and because of the cold. And Hebrews 6:7, for the earth which drinketh in the rain that cometh oft upon it, and bringeth forth herbs, meat for them by whom it is dressed, receiveth blessing from God. So that's the blessing. When the rain comes at the right amounts, it's a blessing from God. He can behold the rain, and it'll be a curse. He can give you too much rain, and that's a curse. And here's James 5:7 again. And then 5:18, and he prayed again, and the heaven gave rain. All right, they're talking about the miracles. And then Revelation 11:6, these have power to shut heaven that it rain not in the days of their prophecy, and have powers over waters to turn into blood, and to smite the earth with all the plagues as often as they will. And he's talking about the prophets. A lot of people associate with this Elijah and Moses, but we know that we're the two witnesses. The prophets, not the prophets. I can't think of the word, but you know what I mean. And then 3796, we read that opposite, early form, song, and then this one here. I do a cross reference on this. There's a bunch of good verses on here. It's about 30 verses. But this going down to Deuteronomy 11:14. Let me start down there with that. It all has to do about being patient and waiting for the Lord. That's what the first half of these verses are talking about. Where's the promise of his coming? Therefore, be ready. He's coming. And then Deuteronomy 11:14, we read that about 5 times already. He gives you the rain in due season, the first and the latter rain. And then 5:24, Jeremiah, neither say in their heart, let us now fear the Lord our God. All right.